Congratulations, you've made it through about half of the course. This is also the 100th lesson, and it happens to be the very first lesson that I recorded for this course, which will explain the wardrobe change coming up. In this episode, I want to give you another approach to drawing simple forms. For beginner artists, it's kind of hard to imagine form in perspective. They'll start drawing the first angle, and then the second one, and the third one. By the time they're done, you kind of zoom out and it's like, oh wait, they didn't come together the way I wanted them to. So once you have a little bit of experience with perspective, you'll be able to do something like this where you define an angle, and so you say, okay, I want this plane to go this way. We're looking up, so these are converging that way. See, I'm already imagining convergence, and I'm imagining me looking up at this plane, and then this is going away, and there. And it all comes together into this box that we're looking up at. In the beginning, you guys are gonna get frustrated trying to do it this way, one line at a time. What you need to be doing is starting to develop your ability to imagine these 3D forms in your head, actually seeing the lines and putting them down. Let's say you're drawing a character, right? And I'll just do a quick head indication. Let's say you're just kind of looking down a little bit at this character. And the eyes are here, the nose is here. Very quick indication. Now I want to draw the rib cage, the body of this. Okay, are we gonna start with an angle? Or like, how are we gonna draw the perspective? I don't even know where the box goes, right? So instead of trying to figure out the perspective of a box that we don't even know about yet, let's start with a simple form, a simple shape first, because that is so much easier to adjust. So I'm gonna say, okay, we're looking kind of down at this. So I'm gonna just drop a rough shape, maybe like this. And see, I'm not being very precise with this. I'm just like, yeah, it kind of goes somewhere here. It gets us a few things right off the bat. One, we know the size. We know it's not big like this. We know it's not a little thing in here. We know it's not tall. And we know the angle, right? Because we kind of gave it length. It's not a circle. It's not a perfect square. We extended it a little bit because we know that the torso is a little bit long. And then I tilted it. Now I know that some of the edges of this box are tilted this way. But this doesn't tell us everything yet. This is just a flat shape. It doesn't tell us if we're looking down at it, up at it, if it's turning towards us perfectly, or if it's turning away from us a little bit. Like I could say that this is the front of the rib cage, or I could say that this is rotated a little bit 3/4 view and it's looking this way. So the next thing we should do is to indicate a plane. I'm gonna start by indicating a top plane, because I know I've said when I drew this head that we're looking down at it a little bit. So let's indicate a top plane. And I'm just gonna do a very simple oval in here, right? No angles yet, no boxes. I'm just saying we're seeing about this much of the top of this box, or bean, or bag, or potato, or whatever it is. And the only other thing we need to indicate now is how much of a twist is there. This way. How much is this twisted? We know that it's angled this way. We know that it's tilted leaning forward so that we're seeing the top. And the only other axis we don't know about is the twisting. And all we need to do is put a line somewhere in here, anywhere along here, and that's gonna be the division between the front plane and a side plane. And I'm just gonna say it's like here. That gives us a corner right there, right? This little corner, that's this guy. And notice that this line is parallel to the long axis that I already determined with my basic shape. So now, if I know this, I know the corner, I kind of know generally where things are, I could start imagining a box in here. I could start saying, okay, this is kind of going back, right? Based on this oval, this goes this way. This goes this way. And there, I've already figured out one plane. We can see this is kind of going this way, so let's just kind of average that out to an angle and finish off the other plane. And there you go, there's our rib cage. And we didn't even need to draw a perfect box. Like when I draw a rib cage, I don't draw a box with corners like this. I draw a general kind of bloated blob shape, and then in some areas I'll give it some angles to show some perspective, but not everywhere. You don't actually see a corner here at a rib cage and a corner here. As you draw more complex organic forms like rib cages and pelvises and heads, you're going to be thinking of this box but not actually drawing it.
But in order to be able to think about it and imagine it, you got to draw it first. You got to draw it hundreds of times, and then it'll kind of get ingrained into your visual memory, all the different angles. And so now I could keep going down and say, well, there's a pelvis here, right? And we could just draw some kind of blobby area indicating the general size and position of it, right? So let's just say it's like right here. I don't know. Like we could put it anywhere we want and it'll be the pelvis, and the spine will have to adjust. They'll have to bend towards it. Putting it down here is kind of boring. Let's put it like over here. Let's make this a little bit more challenging. So there's a pelvis-y shape. And now I have to decide, where is it going? If this is the front of the rib cage and the pelvis is back here, there's some kind of crazy back arch over here, right? So if it arches back, we're gonna be looking at the top plane of this pelvis quite a bit, something like that, right? So now I wanna figure out where the top plane and side plane are. And I'm just gonna say it's like that. If this is a plane change here, and I know that this is kind of the angle of the other two sides, because it has to be parallel to this, now we can start to figure out, okay, where are the other two axes? I'm gonna connect these two sides like that. And this is a very long pelvis, very skinny. So I could say, okay, well, oops, I didn't really follow the size I wanted. So maybe I could just adjust it a little bit. I could kind of make it a little bit wider here. And maybe a little bit shorter. So I could adjust it, right? There. So now I have a different proportioned pelvis. It's in the same perspective. It's just shorter on one axis and wider on the other. This is where the butt would be, and then I would attach legs doing something there, and there would have to be some kind of, you know, abs in here and oblique in here, lots of crazy pinching going on here. So that would be a very extreme torso, but let's not think about it. And now if I want to go over it with a clean line, I can do that. And there's also where I could fix any kind of errors I made when I was being rough with it. So I'm checking any kind of convergence. Right now I'm thinking of individual angles because I'm pretty close to my big picture here, right? I've already figured that out. And now I can say, okay, well, these three angles, are they converging? Does it look like one is going off to a different point? I think maybe this one needs to be a little bit more parallel with this one. Okay, now we got two kind of tumbling boxes that represent a torso. We could do the same with this blobby head that I put down. I started with the general shape, right? Now we decide, okay, where's the top? Well, it's right here. So let's put a little cap on that blob. I'm gonna say it's rotating this way quite a bit. So I'm gonna put that angle right there. So this is the front plane, and we're getting a lot of the side plane of the head. I'm just gonna simplify everything to a box. This one is not gonna go out this way. It's not gonna be perfectly parallel. It's gonna converge just the slightest amount. And so this is almost parallel to our eye, or perpendicular to our eye, but it is going away from us just slightly. And so the convergence is gonna go this way. So I wanna make sure that I have more space here than here. And again, I don't have to be perfect with it. I don't have to figure out a point on my desk somewhere and make sure they're touching perfectly. I'm just sketching right now. And as long as visually they look like they're going towards the right point, I'm fine. Because in the end, this isn't even gonna be a perfect box. I'm gonna draw a character, right? So I just have to give myself a general framework of what is the perspective of this and start to visualize that in my head. Okay, so there's a little box. This would be the center line. We're gonna have an ear somewhere in here. You don't have to draw torso and head. You could just imagine a blob, give it a direction, and then give it a cap, and then front plane, side plane, and then clean it up into a box. Vary it up a little bit, vary the sizes, vary the angles, the twists. But just doing a page of like 20 of these, you will start to just imagine boxes better. You'll just slowly develop your ability to visualize 3D. So go ahead, give it a try, and let's see how you do.
If you do try this out, make sure to post your drawings in the discussions for this lesson on Proko.com. The link is in the description below. Plus, to get a more complete foundation in drawing, check out the Premium Drawing Basics course. It's got a bunch of extra lessons, demos, and critique videos to really push your drawing skills further and faster.